Hello everybody and welcome back to Hearts of Iron, where we can see here that the factions are progressing, but we don't actually care. It hasn't really broken out yet. Spain is losing against Nationalist Spain. The Regional Defense Council of Aragon, they're ongoing as well. So, I mean, that's all well and good. We are, of course, going to be continuing to work on our economy a little bit today. We're cruising through on speed 4. And that's fine. Construction 2 has just finished up. That is wonderful for us. I'd love to grab Construction 3. That's ahead of time. I think we're just going to go for excavation instead for right now. And we will grab synthetic oil and all that fun stuff. But for right now, we're going to do something along the lines of this. So, we could queue up a couple of additional factories, and I think those will certainly be military factories. We've already got ourselves some military factories queued for some of these locations, and that's wonderful. We are also currently working on an armament effort, which will get us an additional military factory. We're at 35 military factories right now. We want to get to 50 as soon as we can to get our additional research slot. So that'll be great. Radio has just finished up, and that will allow us to start building radar stations. We can also grab basic fire control systems. What are we otherwise researching? Infantry equipment 1? I kind of want to keep working in industry. At the same time, working down towards computing machine. You know what? That's only 0.14 years ahead of time. Let's go ahead and grab the computing machine. Get that sweet, sweet research boost. Fantastic. So in terms of our political power, what are we going to go for next? I mean, I would love to go to war economy. We have to be fascist or communist for that to happen. We're not there yet. We are currently on an export focus. Intelligence to others. That's a lot of resources to market. I see. Well, these divisions do, of course, need to be assigned in here. Wonderful. And we have to have that guy deselected and then re-change our map mode to have this not be all hatched, which is kind of odd, but whatever. So I think in terms of our next political power expenditure, we should probably go for like a material designer, the small arms company. Just get some of this research speed going. That would, I think, be pretty handy. This division can get assigned into our defensive army for right now, and that will also be fine. How are we doing on our production anyway? We're doing okay. There's our armament effort. Oh, hello. There's a lot of stuff going on. Our armament effort just finished up, and that means that we should probably grab our political effort at this point. So we're going to do that. And the Indian National Congress has triumphed in the provincial elections. In the recent local elections, the Indian National Congress has achieved an overwhelming majority for their platform of slow and ordered transition to local government and dominion status in the future. It appears that Indians have rejected the more radical policies advocated by Gandhi, who had argued for a total break with Britain and absolute home rule as soon as possible. But do votes really change anything? That's the question. Also, Italy has announced claims on Yugoslavian territory. Speaking to the Italian populations along the Dalmatian coast, Benito Mussolini has announced that Italy fully considers Italian-speaking territory in Yugoslavia to be a rightful part of Italy. An official statement backed up the claims, making it clear that Italy is prepared to take the territory by force, if need be. And they're upsetting the already fragile balance in the region. Indeed they are. It's not going to go tremendously well. So we're grabbing our political effort here, and that will be fine. And we're definitely going to go down collectivist into nationalism, and we're going to go down that tree, but we're probably going to delay that. After we get this 120 political power, I think we're going to grab our researches over here first, our research boosts, and see what we can get done there. We want to play this early game fairly cautiously and keep our cards close to our chest. We're building up army experience, and that will be necessary. We can modify our government at this point, and as I said, we're going to go for a small arms company, giving ourselves a healthy 15% boost to our weapons research, and that'll be great. Infantry are the backbone of our army, after all. So that's wonderful. One more day on that infantry equipment, and then we can shift on over to that. Fantastic. And we're going to switch from basic infantry equipment to, of course, infantry equipment 1. We're going to work on upgrading with that, and we're going to bring our production efficiency on up. And in the meantime, we will grab our second rank of support weapons, which is fantastic. That'll be about 100 days on that one, and that's completely fine. We are up to 6 construction in our secondary construction site. 6 factories helping with the construction. That is great. That is absolutely wonderful. So, let's check in on what the United States is doing. We haven't looked at that in a while. They're on Warplane Black. Okay. So, they're continuing to think about intervening in Europe and Asia. They're not really thinking about doing American interventions for now. And that's a good thing for us. We do not want them to be thinking about that. We are merely biding our time. We are, of course, going to bump up to limited conscription soon-ish. Not necessarily immediately, but certainly soon-ish. How's Spain doing? Not well. Interestingly, Aragon is doing reasonably well. But once Spain falls, nationalist Spain will turn their eyes on Aragon, and Aragon will also fall. There's absolutely no doubt about that one. Now, as far as actually attacking some of these regions down here goes, I want to take some of these landlocked territories, like Bolivia, Paraguay, and also Uruguay, even though that one's not landlocked. I think that those will be relatively easy to snap up and get developing. So we're going to want to do that basically as soon as we show our hand. But when we show our hand, this is the concern, right here. Hopefully they'll be too busy with Germany and Japan at that time. We'll see. Maybe we want to join the Axis, though. Maybe just that Brazil help? That's what the Axis needed, to give them just that little push. We'll see. Maybe. But for now, we've got a lot of other problems on our hands. We do have 59% war support. That's pretty good. And our stability is doing reasonably okay. So that's great. Our political effort will be finishing up in just a few days. That will, of course, give us enough to do another government change. And what do we want to get next? Army experience gain is going to be, I think, extremely important for us. Air experience is, I feel, less important, but we can swap that out later. The reason we want army experience is we're going to want to make our regiments relatively soon, and we need army experience to make that happen. So we're going to grab our military theorist for the land doctrine research speed. Okay, we'll get to you. For the land doctrine research speed, as well as the army experience gain, we'll go ahead and do that. And our next national focus is, I think, going to be army effort. Another land doctrine research bonus. Do it. The Anschluss of Austria. After a successful coup d'etat by the local Nazi party in Vienna, German troops have crossed the Austrian border and taken control of the country. No fighting has been reported, and the German soldiers were greeted by cheering crowds in the cities. In a speech before a massive crowd at the Heldenplatz in Vienna, Hitler announced the Anschluss of Austria, annexing the country into Germany. The oldest eastern province of the German people shall be, from this point on, the newest bastion of the German Reich. If that's what they wish. Yeah, that's a thing that happened. That is definitely a thing that happened. We're up to 23% world tension. The war will break out. Next up, Czechoslovakia. You can do it, Germany. Our agent was killed. He was being tracked by American counter-intel. Okay, sure. That's fine. We are going to definitely see about recruiting a new one, but we can't get one for 28 days. Sure. All we want to do is strategic bombing? No, that's not all we want to do, but that's what the US is currently thinking about. Okay. Well, I mean, that's something that they would be very interested in. So, Chief of Army would give us a division defense or division training time. I feel like neither of these are amazing, but I'd rather have the training time reduction, I feel like. I do like the air superiority expert. And the infantry expert. Both of those will be pretty good, but we've got a lot of work to do on our government still. Excavation 2 has been researched, and we are going to go ahead and work on... Should we just grab fuel storage? We could. We could also go down the advanced machine tools and just be a little bit ahead of time here. Or we could grab radio detection. But I think I'll hold off on that. Let's just grab fuel storage and see where we're at in terms of ahead of times after that's done in 66 days. Great. We're going to be finishing up another civilian factory here pretty soon, and there's another one hot on its heels. And that's great. We are very, very happy about that. We're up to 38 factories. We need a whole lot more. A whole lot more. We also need to work on our infrastructure in here. There's no doubt about that. If we look at our logistics map mode, our supply areas here, we can see it's pretty grim, especially out here in the Amazon. So that's something to note. It's actually pretty good down here, though. 82 and 101 over here. Yeah, that's pretty good. Nice. Okay, so we can now recruit an operative, and none of these have traits, although this guy is a seducer. So, sure. And is he already assigned up here? He is currently defending against subversive attacks. Okay, he's going to go back and continue working up there. We do have another unassigned division to put in over here. Wonderful. And we're going to have to edit those divisions for sure. These cavalry divisions, they're going to get changed to a tank division fairly soon. And they're going to be an armored division. But currently there's just cavalry in here, so that's fine. So yeah, that's definitely going to be awkward. And we can... Actually, I don't want to start another line of these. We can look here. Yeah, that's not great. For sure. We're going to need to get some technologies researched before we really start working on that, though. So that'll be fine. And we're up to 19 army experience for now. That's wonderful. That's really, really good. That's going up at a reasonable pace. And we do need a lot still. Let's look at our logistics here. Yeah, we can see here we are currently losing more infantry equipment than we are making. And that's because we're drilling. The real question is, how are we doing on our production efficiency here? We're only halfway there. So I think overall, our infantry equipment 1 will be okay, especially as we continue to finish up some more of these structures here and get these infrastructures done. Although I kind of feel like we should set our infrastructure as lowest priority below these military factories like that. That's what I'm leaning towards right now. Okay, sounds good. And our support weapons 2 are going to be finished up momentarily. That's great. That's just a small flat boost to all of our equipment. We're going to allow that to tick forward to finish up. There we go. And now we are going to make sure that we grab improved infantry equipment 1. That's another just small upgrade. Small flat upgrade. Fantastic. So that will finish up. And that'll only take 100 more days. Not too bad there. Computing machine will be done in 52. That'll be great and help out our research speed pretty dramatically. we're going to need to start working on things like land doctrines and things like that. We are currently in 1938, so that's definitely something to think about. Spain is, it looks like, in full collapse at this point. It's only a very brief matter of time, and Aragon lost to a naval invasion up here too. I mean, they don't have any supplies, so that naval invasion could fail unless they manage to take Barcelona. That said, they do have a victory point there, so they have some level of supplies, but really, really low supplies here. As opposed to these, which took naval bases, which means that they're very solid. Spain is done for. Absolutely done for. We're not surprised by this, but that's the way it is. 31 more days until our next research is done, and we just finished another construction of a factory. That's great, and there's our army effort. Should we grab equipment effort? Yes, I think we should. Our backbone is going to be infantry for now. We are going to have some armor and some air and some naval assets, but that's going to be basically our 4 pillars. Is our navy, yeah, there goes Spain, is going to be our navy, our air force, our armored corps, and our infantry corps. And that will be just fine. So fascism is, of course, on the rise here, and that was expected and designed. We're at 44% fascist now. That's wonderful. This guy will never be ousted, though, unless he, for some reason, were to die, which I don't know that that even happens in Hearts of Iron, or if we were to oust him, which is probably what we'll end up having to do. We could add a political advisor next. And there goes Aragon. Nationalist victory in the Spanish Civil War. After a long and grueling civil war, the Nationalists, united under Francisco Franco, have finally defeated their Republican enemies and secured full control over Spain. Though isolated pockets of Republican troops continue to wage a guerrilla war that may well hamper the exertion of local nationalist control in previous Republican areas, it is unlikely further coordinated resistance of any significance will materialize. As the nation focuses on rebuilding its war-torn cities and industry, it remains to be seen what effects the nationalist ideological amalgamation will have on their foreign policy, and whether the generous foreign military aid they received will be repaid. An interesting development. Okay, so we just got fuel storage. That was kind of a filler until such a time as this tree comes unlocked. Realistically, though, I feel like it's still kind of a filler, and maybe we just go for basic fire control system as another filler. Because we're still a little ways away from that tier becoming unlocked. And that's okay. That is completely okay. So, Nationalist Spain is over here, being, you know, cool bros, cool fascist bros. We like them. That is a good thing, according to us. Computing machine has finished up. That is a big, big deal. And next, I would absolutely love to get the improved computing machine, but I think that now is not the time for that. And instead, we will probably start looking at doing something along the lines of getting some basic artillery or even some basic air researched here. Just interwar bombers, that's something that's going to be pretty important. So let's go ahead and do that. Bulgaria has approached the German Reich. The Bulgarian government has signed a commercial agreement with several German companies in an attempt to strengthen ties with the German Reich while stimulating the injection of foreign capital into the country. Under this agreement, German investors will receive significant legal benefits and tax reductions when operating in Bulgaria. They only seek Adolf Hitler's protection. That's true, but why are we upset about that? We're kinda not. Have fun, Germany. Have fun. Excellent. So we are about 32 days away from our improved infantry equipment 1, and we're just making our way through that tech tree. We are up to 40 factories now, and that's great. We're not getting any more free factories. But let's see here. 2, 4, 6, 7, 8, 9. So with the civilian factories, we'll be at 49, and then the first military factory that we build will be at 50. So that's great to know. That definitely means that we want to prioritize the military factories here over the infrastructure. 7 July before we have another civilian factory constructed. And we're starting to construct these relatively quickly at this point, which is wonderful to see. And we're about 17 days on our infantry equipment. Our equipment effort will be finishing up soon. We should probably also grab a motorization effort and a doctrine effort, and we're going to grab everything here. Literally everything, including nuclear effort and secret weapon later on. In fact, 4x 100% bonuses for electronics, nuclear technology, and rocketry technology. We might want to grab secret weapons pretty early on to try to get ahead. I'm going to do it now. To try to get ahead in our electronics tree. Specifically, electronic engineering down here. I would want to use that on improved computing machine into advanced computing machine. I think that would be very, very important to do. So that is what we'll do. Improved infantry equipment 1 will be finishing up in 1 day. And at this point, we should probably be prioritizing things that we have a research bonus on, right? So if we look in here, we can see there's a research bonus on this, as well as this. This one is only half a year ahead of time. What else do we maybe have a research bonus on? Nothing in this tree. Nothing in the tank tree for now. We do have some artillery research bonuses. So we may want to grab interwar artillery and use up a research bonus there. Excellent. Yeah, I think we should just use research bonuses wherever we can right now to just try to get a little bit caught up in our technology because we're a little bit behind. There's no doubt about that. This factory is going to be completed on 19 August, a little over a month. This one on 24 September, about a month after that. So it kind of looks like we're roughly completing a civilian factory every month now, and that is a really good feeling. That is a really good feeling. We are going to run out of slots for them, don't get me wrong. That is for sure a thing that we're going to run out of. Now, we can only build one airbase per state, right? That's the way that works? I'm pretty sure. Some of these already have air bases, and we'll probably just upgrade those. Hello, pause menu. But some of these up here, like an airbase would be pretty good to put, say, here. And then we'd be able to hit all of these locations over here. We wouldn't necessarily be able to attack down here, but that's why we'd have an airbase around here to attack over here. So, in fact, I think I'm going to go ahead and queue up those air bases. We will put in an air base. What am I looking for? Looking for air bases. We would put in an air base here. Oh, we don't get to choose where it goes? Okay, well, at any rate, we'd want to max out our air bases after we finish up our factories. And we'll also want to build some fortifications and things like that. That'll be fine. I guess we don't get to choose where our airbase is, but that's okay. So we need these guys to be assigned. And there we go. We also need a technology to research. I'd love to do improved computing machine. That's not really a good option right now. Let's just look for anything we have a boost on. Nothing in any of these trees currently. That's not shocking, of course. So, what do we want to do for our land doctrine? Well, that's a good question. I kind of want to be pretty aggressive. And perhaps superior firepower doctrine is the way to go. Our manpower is precious and bullets are cheap. That is fairly true for our current situation. Let's see. Entrenchment speed. This allows grand assault. That's a lot of breakthrough. Prepared defense. Okay. Max planning upgrades. And then mechanized offensives isn't really what I'd be going for. Armored operations and infantry offensive. So infiltration is more like what we'd do. I'm actually leaning towards grand battle plan here. Let's do it. Excellent. So we'll get that underway. And we're about 30 days away from our interwar artillery finishing up. We're also going to get our secret weapons here in a little while. And that is fantastic. It is, however, time to put a cut in here, so I'm going to go ahead and do that. I know this is a bit of a slow start, but it won't be slow for too much longer. You can leave your offerings to the engagement gods in the form of likes, comments, subscribes, and bell ringings, and I will see you all next time.